to be sharing with you in this video how to heal your relationship with pain and create a better future as a result of it. Now, this is a very serious topic, which I think can be sensitive for a lot of people. It can be very sensitive because, pain is it's almost like this. Think about it like this. There's two forces in life that create your existence. On the one end, there's the vision of what you want to create in your life. And on the other side of that, there's the pain of what you don't want and what you dislike in your life. And I think that that's an interesting dynamic that we need to understand more, to understand that, if we don't heal our relationship with pain, which is, again, one of the main driving forces in our existence, it's going to be really tough. It's not going to be easy, I think, to move forward in life when we have a bad relationship to the idea of pain itself. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video to understand is that pain is not actually bad. I invite and encourage you, if you've been, if you're watching this video, if you've landed on this video here, what I want you to start to consider is that, what if pain is not bad? Because when you're going through a painful experience, when you're feeling something negative, when you're feeling some type of, whether it's a pain that's inflicted upon you from the outside, or whether it's something that you're maybe adding some type of stress to the situation that, you don't really know why you're doing it, but nonetheless you are, whether it's, external or internally created pain, I want you to start to consider, what benefit is there to that pain? And that's a tough question to ask. It's like, well, what do you mean, what benefit is there? Why would you ask me what benefit there is? How can there possibly be a benefit to this pain? But I want you to start to understand that your attitude towards the pain can shift the pain itself. In my experience, your relationship to the pain can actually heal the pain in of itself, whatever that pain is to you, and we can go through so many different examples. Of course, I'm speaking so generally here. Like, Francis, what are you talking about? Are you talking about a relationship? Are you talking about physical pain? Are you talking about emotional pain? Are you talking about the pain that comes from, if somebody loses money in their business? Like, what, Francis, what are you talking about? What pain are you talking about? You got to be more specific. Well, what if you take something as simple as just physical pain, like hurting yourself on accident, doing something painful? Maybe you hurt yourself in whatever way. A lot of these painful experiences physically will show you what not to do. If you injure yourself in the gym, you'll know what not to do for next time. And that's a pretty general way to look at it. It's like, well, yeah, I guess, but that's what it is, right? And think about it. The people that have the most injuries in that, field of development, they're going to have a lot of things to teach other people. Hey, don't do this type of form, don't do this technique in this way, don't do it like that, do it like this instead. Because if you do it like this, people can tell you, hey, I've already experienced a lot of pain in this area, so I don't recommend that you do it the same way. And so that's what I really want you to consider here. What if pain is just not bad? What if it was never bad? What if pain was never an issue? What if pain was always there to help you and to guide you and to teach you and to show you something to become a better human? And that sounds really general. So really, it's not a little bit deep, but it's true. It really is true, because think about it. And I know this is going to sound really bold, but is it possible that the human existence is grounded in pain? And it's like, wait, what do you mean? Well, think about it. That's the beauty of being a human, is that on one end, you can have all these amazing experiences of bliss and love and joy, and you can be in love. But on the other end, pain is a byproduct of that. And so I want you to start to think about, what if you don't have a good relationship to pain, can you really enjoy the beautiful things in life? How can you really find that balance? And so the key here is to start to contemplate, what is that pain giving you? What is it giving you? How is it serving you? Because we go through our life and we think well, this pain shouldn't be happening, and why am I experiencing this? And I shouldn't be going through this pain, and it's internal resistance to that situation, right? And so I want you to start to flip that and start to understand that, is it possible that our attitude towards the situation can shift the situation? It's if you want to have any control over a situation that you don't have any control over, you need to change your attitude towards the situation and control what you can control, right? Because that's all you can do. No matter how much a situation in your life feels like you feel powerless and you don't have control, I think the nature of the human existence is to understand that we need to move forward no matter what, and to decide that I'm gonna make this thing happen anyway in my life, because what is the alternative, right? Where can you start to change your attitude towards the things that you want to create? Where can you start to change how you're thinking about that situation? Because that situation might be happening. You might be going through a tough situation in your life, whether it's inflicted on the outside or whether you're doing it to yourself. That situation is happening nonetheless. And so how are you going to shift your attitude towards that situation? What are you going to do to maintain balance and stay calm in that situation? Because life is going to always throw challenges, right? And it's like, it doesn't really matter if you want to see it like that or not, because it's still going to happen. And whether you want to have a good relationship to pain or not, pain is still going to happen. And so I want you to think about that. Well, if pain's still going to happen, if hardship is still going to happen, if negative experiences are still going to happen, if things are not going to go according to plan, exactly how you think it's going to plan, if your plan doesn't go, no matter what, how you think it's going to go in some type of form, I'm not saying that your plans are not going to execute in a good way, be executed in a good way. But what I'm saying is that when you have a plan, haven't you ever noticed that there's always going to be something along the road that just didn't go exactly how you thought it was going to go? And it's like, if you can start to look at that, it's like, well, wouldn't it be beneficial to say, well, wait a second, how can I heal my attitude towards that situation? Because people always go through life and I think they see a situation and say, oh, well, this situation means that I shouldn't continue. Like, I shouldn't do it. It's like, this is a sign that I shouldn't do what I want. Well, no, what if actually it's a sign you should keep doing it anyways? It's because you decide the meaning to that situation, and it's up to you how you respond to a external circumstance in your life. It's even up to you how you respond to your own reactions in life. Your own internal dialogue, you can choose how to respond to that as well. It's really up to you how you even shape your own thoughts and your own actions as a result of how you shape your thoughts, right? And so when we start to understand these, mechanics of how your attitude towards pain is going to shift your life completely, I think it can start to open yourself up to the possibility that that maybe, wait a second, we can be a little bit more focused on how we're thinking about the things in our life. Which leads me to the second thing that I want to share with you in this video, which is that, is it possible that pain and discomfort just equals growth? And that's what pain is. Think about the most elite human beings in any area of life. There was a lot of pain that came as a result of that, whether that pain was, they did it to themselves on purpose just to become stronger, or whether it was just the pain that came from the challenges that they experienced moving towards their vision, inevitably so. Whether it was that the first case or the second case, in either case, pain and discomfort does equal growth. And I'm not saying that you need too much pain to be in so much pain that you're overwhelmed. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that overwhelming amounts of pain and discomfort equal growth. That's tough, right? I'm not saying that. That's too much. There's definitely such thing as too much growth and too much transformation in one time, right? That's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. If you shift your mindset, if you change your ego structure, if you change your identity too quickly, too fast, that's going to be very traumatizing and damaging to the point where it's not going to be even beneficial anymore. And that can be quite damaging to your psyche and to who you want to be. And so what I'm here to share with you is that it's always a balance. It's always a balance. Like, stress is beneficial for growth. Like, just the perfect amount of stress is what you need to be where you're at and where you want to be in your life. Just the perfect amount, right? You don't want to be so stressed out that you feel like you're overwhelmed, but you don't want to be so comfortable to the point where it's becoming uncomfortable to be that comfortable. How about you ever noticed that if you're so comfortable and you're so lazy, and for me, I noticed this, that when I become so comfortable and so complacent and so lazy and so in ease, that I can be so at ease that it becomes dis-ease to be at ease. Does that make sense? It's like you're so comfortable, you're not moving towards any vision, you're so just in a state of being and just doing nothing, and that you find so much joy in that becomes like a very not enjoyable anymore, paradoxically so. And then so you want to move towards a little bit of discomfort just to balance it out. And then to in some cultures, I believe they do call this the middle way. To be in the middle, right? It's to be in the middle between that the point of moving towards a vision of something that you find amazing in your life and something that you want to create. And then on the other end, that discomfort and that, on one end there's the discomfort of moving towards the vision, and on the other side, there's just the comfort of just being and not moving towards anything and just being at ease and at comfort and just finding comfort and peace, right? There's two sides to life, and we need both sides. We need to be on one end towards moving towards a vision, and then on the other end, not being stressed at all, just taking it easy, right? You need those two sides. But I do want you to remember that if you want to grow, there's going to be some type of stress involved. However you see that stress, I believe it's the middle point where you can be just perfectly stressed out to the point where there's just joy in being at a perfect balance, right? At a perfect balance of you're putting in a certain amount of effort, but not so much effort where you're feeling overwhelmed, but not too little effort to the point where you feel like you're not doing enough. Just being right in the middle, right? I think that's an amazing perspective to have so that you can become better at whatever area you want to become better at. And so the third thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that, unfortunately, sometimes pain and trauma is needed for wisdom. That's a really key topic that I do want to conclude this video with, and I do want to share with you because, people think that pain is bad, but it's like, well, think about it. The most wise people, the people that have the highest level of discipline and excellence and devotion, and they're really, really just the most committed individual you'll see in your life, right? They're so committed. It's like, how did they get there? Well, I'm going to tell you right now that they definitely, absolutely, more than likely went through some type of pain and trauma to make them be so quote unquote positive or so motivated. You see somebody that's motivated and positive in their soul. Well, how are they so positive, right? Well, positivity is it's almost an illusion because positivity almost doesn't exist, right? Because on one day you might feel positive and then another day you might feel negative, right? That's just a fleeting emotional thing. One day you might feel like you want to move towards your vision, and another day you feel like you don't, right? So how do you navigate that situation? Well, the way to navigate that situation is just, well, first of all, understand that. First, observe people that are successful. Usually they've had some type of pain. And so, unfortunately, I've come to realize in my experience that I believe that sometimes life does bring us to situations where we go through so much pain, and that's what we need to then become a better person, to then become a better individual that we could not have become that individual had we not went through that negative situation and went through that pain and went through that learning experience that we needed to go through, right? And then it's like, well, Francis, are you saying that we have to go through trauma? Well, to some degree, yes. But also on a more positive note, what I would say, and this is just my belief, is that hopefully there's somebody out there, a teacher or a mentor or somebody that can show you how not to recreate those experiences of pain and resistance, whatever area it is, right? Because if you want to create something, a better future, there's, like I said, inevitably so going to be challenges and things that come up along the journey. And so why go through it again if somebody has already went through it? If somebody has already went through that type of pain and went through that type of resistance, wouldn't it just make sense to go ask that person how they went through that experience and how they solved that situation, and so that you don't have to repeat the same thing? Wouldn't that just make sense? Wouldn't that just be logical and just be a good step and action to take? I would believe so. And so the key here, I believe, is to start to remember that, well, maybe we should reach out to these people and ask for clarification on what they went through so that you don't have to repeat those mistakes. But just understand that in order to become better, that pain is almost just part of that equation. It's part of the equation. And so I just really want to conclude this video with just an invitation. It's like, I'm not telling you what to do in this video. I'm not telling you how to live your life, right? You're your own person, right? You're your own individual. You're an independent thinker. You can come up with your own beliefs and your own way of thinking, and you can take from this video what you want and drop the rest. But I really invite and encourage you, if you take one thing from this video, because there's so many videos that you just might click off of and forget and you never think about them ever again. But if this video, and there's so many things, there's so much information in this video that perhaps I said, but if you take one thing from this video, I want you to take that, consider the possibility that pain, to invite the idea that pain is not a bad thing and that your attitude towards that pain is the most important thing. The attitude towards how we see the situations in our life are what we need to create a better future. And so with that, I conclude this